choice. This means an enormous amount to us. It was a really joyous rehearsal process. I'd like to thank everyone involved. Obviously Gail, Keith, DPJ, Nick, Mickey, Becky. I want to just say something very briefly about the actors, because both actors were at Dundee Rep for several years, and I felt like most of my job was done by the time they came into the rehearsal, because they already had this incredible trust between them. I'd also like to thank Linda Bukowski's widow, who was very supportive in the realisation of the production. I'd also like to thank Malcolm Binney and the staff of the Barony Bar, which is our spiritual home. I realised the other day that I've been drinking there for 20 years, which is a bit worrying. And I just wanted to make one of my kind of favourite quote from Bukowski, which kind of indicates the spirit of Gridiron, I think, which is that you can't beat death, but you can beat death in life sometimes. And Gridiron's work is about trying to beat the death in life. Thank you very much.
Of course, being the producer, I want to thank the funders, because that's my job. I really do want to thank the Scottish Arts Council, soon to be Creative Scotland, and the Made in Scotland Fringe Expo Fund. It's not just about the money. We feel nurtured. We have always felt nurtured. We are very honoured to be living in this marvellous city and working in this marvellous festival. And so, big up to them.
Back in the world of what to do about the state of the world, no one this year with very, very clear or distinct ideas, but lots of people exploring the tensions and possibilities, the legacy of the politics of the 20th century, and the personal dilemmas that often seem to intrude somehow in our efforts to become engaged in the politics of the 21st century. And there's no show that pursues that agenda in a more subtle way and in a more subtly theatrical way than David Leddy's White Tea, which is playing in the Little Scott Room here at the Assembly Rooms. Those of us who are lucky enough to live and work in Scotland know David Leddy, of course, as the producer of some very adventurous and fascinating and beautifully written site-specific work. But here he's created a space like a little Japanese tea house, in which a woman from the West, beautifully played by Gabriel Quigley, finds herself as she explores what has happened in the last dying days of her adoptive mother, a Hiroshima survivor who's become a major human rights activist and campaigner, but who has also been a very distant and a very cold mother to the central character. And through her relationship with a young girl who was her mother's nurse, she begins to find new ways of understanding her mother's life. It's a very complex story that touches on many of the deepest traumas of the 20th century, including the great disaster that was the atomic bombing for the people there of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But it's presented in a wonderfully inventive style, which combines this tea house atmosphere with kind of brilliant junctures with kind of noisy urban babble of sort of Japanese video culture, urban culture, projected on screens around the room. It's a wonderful experience. It's a very rich, interesting and beautiful play. And I want to welcome David Leddy and his team for White Tea. David.
The last time I won an award, I was 12 and I went on an adventure holiday with my school to the Lake District and we did mountain climbing and I won an award for best effort. It would be funny if it wasn't true. So I would like to thank all of the people who worked on this show. This has been a very difficult show to make. We had some very serious problems with some of the people that we were working with during the show, but the people who did work on the show worked incredibly hard to make it, particularly the designers, Becky Minto, Tim Reed, Graham Sutherland and Nick Smith, and also the people who are here on stage with me. And particularly the actors, Gabriel Quigley and Elisa Anderson, who are such marvellous actors. Remember their names, Elisa Anderson, Gabriel Quigley. Write them down. So, thank you all very much. Thank you.
Invisible Company and Tom Basden, please come up to accept the award.
Yes, we're really thrilled. It's been such a fantastic month. We've had such a great time performing here. Particularly thanks to Rebecca at the Semblance for letting us put our play on, because when we sort of handed it in as a script and sort of earlier in the year, it was about 25 pages of very badly formatted final draft, and didn't look great at the time, I'll be honest, but we got there. And also largely thanks to our director Phil Breen, who worked with me on the script and worked with us in a very short space of time to sort of rehearse it into something getting close to what we were aiming towards in July. And I'd like to thank Simon and everyone at Elizabeth, Carrie, Luke and Roz for all their amazing work in promoting the show and producing it. And also, of course, to my fantastic cast, that's also already been mentioned. Obviously myself, and Tim Key, Katie Wicks, Anna Crilly, Johnny Sweet, and the lovely Nick Mohammed. Thank you.
He uses rhyme, he uses elements of rap, he uses a wonderful kind of visionary, lyrical poetry at certain points in the story. And I want you to welcome Inua Elans to receive his Fringe First for the 14th take.
I wanted to read a poem, but we don't have time for that. So I'm just going to thank people. I want to thank Kate, my boss, really. She runs Fuel, my producers. And first time I met Kate was at the BAC, and I sat down with a partner, Louise, and I began talking about my life. I grew up a dust boy in Nigeria, drawing in the sand to entertain my friends. And I began talking to her, and it felt